At least 129 people have been killed and around 180 injured at a soccer match in Indonesia after a crowd stampede during a riot, in what is one of the most deadly ever incidents related to sport. When supporters of losing home team Arema invaded the pitch in East Java province on Saturday night to express their frustration, officers fired tear gas in an attempt to control the situation. Watch in the video above, footage of East Java soccer tragedy emerges. Watch the latest sport on Channel 7 or stream for free on 7+. A stampede was triggered, with many dying from suffocation, East Java Police Chief Nico Avinta told reporters. It had gotten anarchic. They started attacking officers, they damaged cars, he said, adding the crush occurred when fans fled for an exit gate. We regret and deplore the tragedy. Video footage from local news channels showed fans streaming onto the pitch in the stadium in Malang after Arema lost 3-2 to Persebaya Surabaya. Scuffles could be seen, with what appeared to be tear gas in the air. Images showed people who appeared to have lost consciousness being carried away by other fans. World Soccer's governing body FIFA specifies in its safety regulations that no firearms or crowd control gas should be carried or used by stewards or police. East Java Police did not immediately respond to a request for comment on whether they were aware of such regulations. Indonesia's Human Rights Commission planned to investigate security at the ground, including the use of tear gas, its commissioner told Reuters. The country's chief security minister, Mahfud MD, said in an Instagram post the stadium had been filled beyond its capacity. He alleged 42,000 tickets had been issued for a stadium that is only supposed to hold 38,000 people. There have been sporadic outbreaks of trouble at matches in Indonesia, with strong rivalries between clubs sometimes leading to violence among supporters. Zainuddin Amali, Indonesia's sports minister, told Kompas TV the ministry would reevaluate safety at matches, including considering not allowing spectators in stadiums. The Indonesian top league, BRI Liga 1, has suspended games for a week and an investigation had been launched, the Football Association of Indonesia said. Indonesia is scheduled to host the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in May and June next year. It is also one of 3 countries bidding to stage next year's Asian Cup, after China pulled out as hosts. Stadium disasters in the past 40 years following the death of at least 129 people in a stampede at a football match in the Indonesian province of East Java. Here is a look at some of the other major disasters in soccer stadiums over the last 40 years. Cameroon 2002 At least 8 people died and 38 were injured in a stampede at the Yaoundé Olim Stadium in Cameroon before the host country's Africa Cup of Nations last 16 game against Comoros. Egypt 2012 Fans rioted at the end of a match between Al Masry and Al Ahly in the city of Port Said. At least 73 people were killed and more than 1,000 injured. The Egyptian league was subsequently suspended for 2 years. Ivory Coast 2009 At least 19 people were killed during a stampede at Abidjan's Félix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium before a World Cup qualifying match against Malawi. Ghana 2001 More than 125 people were killed in a stampede at Accra's main stadium when police fired tear gas at rioting fans in one of Africa's worst soccer disasters. South Africa 2001 At least 43 people were crushed to death when fans tried to force their way into Johannesburg's huge Ellis Park Stadium midway through a South African League match. Guatemala 1996 Up to 82 people died and at least 147 were injured when an avalanche of fans tumbled down seats and a flight of stairs at a World Cup qualifying match between Guatemala and Costa Rica. France 1992 A stand at Bastia's Furiani Stadium collapsed before a French Cup semi-final against Marseille, killing 18 and injuring more than 2,300. Last year, the French Parliament passed a law banning professional matches taking place on May 5, in memory of the victims. South Africa 1991 42 people died in a stampede during a preseason game at the Oppenheimer Stadium in the mining town of Orkney between the Kaizer Chiefs and the Orlando Pirates. A Pirates fan had attacked Chiefs supporters in the crowd with a knife. Britain 1989-96 Liverpool supporters were crushed to death in an overcrowded and fenced-in enclosure at the Hillsborough Stadium in Sheffield before the FA Cup semi-final between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest. One victim died in July 2021, 32 years after suffering severe brain damage in the incident. Nepal 1988. A stampede towards locked exits in a hailstorm at Nepal's National Soccer Stadium in Kathmandu killed more than 90 fans. Belgium 1985. 39 fans died and more than 600 were injured in fan violence before the European Cup final between Juventus and Liverpool at the Heysel Stadium in Brussels. England 1985. At least 56 people were killed and more than 200 injured when fire broke out in the stands at the Valley Parade Stadium in Bradford during a third division match against Lincoln City. Soviet Union 1982. Fans were crushed as they left a UEFA Cup tie between Spartak Moscow and Dutch side HFC Haarlem at the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. Officials from the former Soviet Union did not disclose the tragedy for years. When they did, they gave an official death toll of 66, although it is widely believed the number who died in a crush at one exit could have been as high as 340.